This woman bought 22 rental units and now regrets it. Shouts out to Stephanie. I don't know how to say your last name. I apologize. But hey, let's see what it's hitting for.
Bought 22 rental units in only 18 months, and now I regret it.
18 months.
Just to show you, here's a 2-unit property I own. Here's another one that's a 6-unit apartment building. And here's another one. And here's another one. And there's even more properties, but I'm done driving around wasting my gas, and I feel you guys understand. I thought owning rental properties would be a great source of income, but boy, was I wrong.
Man, it's a lot that goes into real estate, bro, especially rental properties. If you're only putting the least amount down you can put down, it's a lot. And them look like some older homes. You know, I'm not sure which area of the country she's in, but them look like some older, you know, homes, which is not always bad, but they can have a lot of problems if they're not, if they haven't been maintenance right, and if you gotta put a lot of work into them. Like it could be a lot of work that goes into them, you know.
Most real estate investors teach about buying rental properties, rehabbing them, renting them out to tenants, and then refinancing them with a bank just to only cash flow $300 per month. And that $300 per month
it's a lot that go the expenses versus just the 300 on top. That's why you gotta really have a bag, and it seemed like she really got a bag to have 22 units in 18 months. You know, so you know she probably scaled too soon. You know, it's probably what happened.
They sound like a small amount, but when you have a lot of units, that amount adds up. For the 22 units that I own with my business partner, we roughly cash flow on an average of $600 per month, and that's per unit. And on a monthly basis, that comes to $13,200. And on an annual basis, each year, that comes to $158,400. And that's a big cash flow amount just for only owning 22 units. Yeah. Now that we talked about the money side of things, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, Stephanie, why on earth would you regret buying all these properties and wanting to sell them if you're making well over 6 figures with them? Well, because I'm here to tell you dark side of owning rental properties that the other real estate gurus won't tell you. I honestly thought that as we buy more rental properties...
That's expenses. That ain't even calculate for expenses. Did she say that was cash flow per unit? Well, okay, so that must be calculating expenses.
I would make more money. And as we continue to buy more, I just became more broke. So owning 22 rental properties won't tell you. I honestly thought that as we buy more rental properties that I would make more money. And as we continue to buy more, I just became more broke. So owning 22 rental properties looks great on social media, but in real life, it sucks.
You gotta maintain those
and the 6 figures that you see that we make from all these properties isn't really 6 figures, because as you buy more and you scale, more of that money of that cash flow that you make just goes into buying more properties. And not only that, you have to remember you're dealing with properties and things happen. So a roof could go out, an HVAC system could go out, you know, windows could need to be replaced, and those are some pricey items.
Big
and
facts.
That starts to add up. Look, think about it. Let's say you own a single family house and you decide to rent it out and you cash flow $400 per month. That's great. You know, that's above average.
Like if a major expense was to come up, bro, and it was over $400, you would have to come out of pocket to pay for that, bro. You know, like,
because typical investors.
It doesn't mean it's a bad deal, but you gotta think about that stuff, man. You know, when it comes to real estate, developing and like really, you gotta really have a lot of equity, man, and hold it, pay it down, you know, or you know, refinance or buy it cash, you know, to really cash flow with the real estate. You know, yeah, you can, if you have a bunch of units and you can finance them, yeah, you can cash flow that way, you know, but you're always going to have to be paying. You're always going to have expenses, so you have to think about that. You know, it's not passive income. You know, it's not.
look to cash flow roughly $200 a month. So you're making $400 a month just from this one property. Now, let's say your roof goes out, and to buy a new roof, that costs $5,000. All your cash flow of that $400 per month is completely wiped out just because of that one thing, just because you have to pay for that roof. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, whether that's buying rental properties or not. I'm just here to tell you what my journey is and the ups and downs that have come along with it, just so it can help you along the way. Because at the end of the day, we all know that there are pros to rental properties and there are also cons to rental properties. Throughout us buying all these rental properties within an 18-month time frame, I quickly realized that we were becoming equity rich but cash poor. And having a lot of equity is great, but equity does not put gas in my tank for me to be able to drive.
Right, man. I feel that, you know what I'm saying?
The office and drive to apartments. I don't like living a life having to constantly check if my bank account is in the negatives or not. I just got tired of it, honestly. And with you being equity rich and cash poor, not having enough in your bank account, you have to think of those things. Like, are you gonna have enough money for food? Are you gonna have enough money to have gas? Are you gonna have enough money for just the regular bills in your life?
Equity's cool, and bro, but you might have a property, you know, that it's you gotta be smart when you getting in it. You gotta know what you signing up for, man. Cause you might have a property, you might be ready to sell it, and it can sell. It's worth more than what you bought it for, and you'll profit when you do sell it. But it might sit for a while, and you really need the money, you know. And you know, like, there's things you gotta really think about.
I just got over it.
Is it really worth it, bro? Because I have a property, you know what I'm saying, and I'm working on it. I'm going on the end of this year would be 2 years. I got it September 23. You know, and I want to wrap it up by the end of this year, you know, so I can do what I'm going to do with it. I'm not sure yet. I've got various options, you know, so, but just I had to think about all this stuff, you know, and I'm still on the first one. I'm just on my first one, and it's taking this long because I have YouTube. I got a full-time job. I'm studying to get my license. You know, like, I got so much stuff going on, so it's hard I'm not working on it full time. If I was on it full time, it would have been done. But I'm not on it full time. And so that's something that you really that's just another factor that I had to think about, though. But look, it comes to, you gotta run the numbers. Is it worth going through all this for $300 a month? Is it worth taking 5 years to fix this up? Not 5 years, but hell, a year, 2 years, 3 years to fix this up. You know what I'm saying? Just to cash flow $500 when it's said and done, and appreciate at 2% a year. You know, because this neighborhood is an old house or something. Like, it's a lot that you really got to think about, man. It sounds good, but you got to really run the numbers. Yeah, there's people rich and it's successful, you know, but they know what they doing and they run the numbers. Real estate is a numbers game, man. It is, you know, and that's why they was able to scale, you know, but you can't scale too soon. Real estate, you really got to hold it for a while. That's where you're really going to see a lot of gains in profit and equity, you know, and appreciation. All of the above, you know. You know,
I was just tired of living a life like that, and just came to this realization where I just regret building and scaling this fast. And I want you guys to know that when you are dealing with rental properties, you need
another. Like I said, she regrets building and scaling that fast. You know, that's what it. Cause you gotta have some cash reserves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get the investments. You might have enough to go buy 5 properties, you know, but after you buy them 5 properties and do all the little initial maintenance and everything, just getting it started, you know, are you going to have cushion? Are you going to have some cash are you going to have enough to replace one of those properties in your pocket? Just for emergencies or just as cushion, because you might can buy them 5 properties, but you ain't gonna have nothing after. But what is cash flowing? You know, and it's you got to think about that, man. Source of income just to help you sustain, because as I just said, you will be equity rich and cash poor if you do it this way and just build and scale so fast. So that other source of income that we took into consideration was wholesale bills.
But unfortunately for us, our wholesale deals were very, very inconsistent. So we weren't making really any money from that. It was just the money from our cash flow. But you gotta think about it, for us, there were some things that did need repaired. And when we had no money coming from wholesale deals, then we would use our cash flow money. But when we were low and didn't even have cash flow money to use that.
See, me personally, I don't really understand wholesaling all that much. And it's not something that, like, it just kind of confuses me. And I'm sure it's not that difficult, you know, but I don't know, you know. I don't know how to feel about wholesaling. We would have to come out of our own pocket.
And guys, remember I told you, being cash poor, not having
any... If that's kind of like your go-to, that's what you want to do, is be a wholesaler. Like, the real estate game is an entrepreneur game. Whether you're a real estate agent, it's an entrepreneur game. Never put all your eggs into one basket. That's all I've got to say. Because I've done it before, and yeah, that's why I'm not a full-time YouTuber or rapper, you know. No, I got a lot of things going on, you know.
Money in the bank account, you're probably wondering, like, how are you going to pay for repairs if you have no money from your personal pocket? Well, the bad thing we've done that I don't recommend is we just put it on credit cards.
Right.
And that's where you get into a hole. And that's why I'm making this video, because I don't want you guys to...
It's a rabbit hole, yep. Don't do that. No, you spend all the money on your 5 properties to get them right, and then to repair it. Like, that's why you gotta have that cushion, bro, because things are gonna happen. I just bought a car and the engine light came on. I thought I was good. That's another $325. I gotta fix the thermostat for it go out and start overheating or whatever. Like, I just bought it. You know what I'm saying? And I just bought it and something happened and I had to pay something that was unexpected. You know, hopefully that's the last thing. and you always got to expect something to occur. You know, don't spend all you have to try to cash flow, because you might end up in a hole and now you're negative. You're not even cash flowing no more.
To be in the same position that I'm in. I want you guys to learn the lessons, learn the mistakes that I have made, so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. So just remember, if you do want to build a rental portfolio, make sure you also have another source of income just coming in, because if you don't, you may end up real broke. Now, I want to talk about self-managing your rental properties.
Don't just work one job.
That is what we did to save money. And to be honest with you guys, I honestly don't mind it. As long as you have your proper systems and processes in place, then it's more so of a piece of cake. And what I recommend you guys do, if you are buying these rental properties, make sure you're fully fixing them up, just so you're not getting calls in the middle of the night of tenants saying, oh, my toilet's broken, where if you just get a brand new toilet, then you're less likely to have that issue. So just repair your properties up from the jump instead of having someone move in right away. And make sure you have your right proper...
a good minute, you know, like a long time, bro. Especially if whoever's using it is keeping it clean, you know.
Systems.
See, a lot of like landlords and shit, bro, that y'all see, and people be tearing the house. They don't be caring that they tear the house up. They just want that little money because they're also a bum. They just happen to own that house. I swear, bro.
Processes in place. Now, I want to get back into the money side of things, because that's the main reason people truly buy rental properties, is to have that, you know, financial freedom. But I want to take a second to dive deeper on mortgages. And with you seeing that $300 per month in cash flow, that's not because your utility bills are so high. It's honestly because your mortgage is so high with your principal and interest payments. Right, and I want to give you guys an example.
Right. Then y'all got to think about taxes, man. Insurance. You're paying that insurance and taxes on a yearly basis, bro. If you're an investor, you come in with 20% down, bro. It might not be escrowed into your thing, so you're going to have to write that check into your mortgage. It might not be escrowed into your mortgage. You know, so you might have to write that check, man. We writing checks over here.
Or this 2-unit property that we own.
Taxes double, bro. Taxes, man. Look, the school, Win State, they get a new stadium. Taxes going up. That's real.
That you guys have seen.
And the ups to pay, bro. Taxes went from $1,500, $1,600 to $2,600 the next year.
Upstairs unit is renting for $1,300 a month, and the downstairs unit is renting for $1,100 a month. Now, for the mortgage on that property, it is roughly $1,300 a month. So that upstairs unit already covers that mortgage, which is amazing. But we still do have utility bill payments on that, so we still cash flow a good amount on that, roughly around the $600 per unit. But still, we have expenses no matter what. But I want you guys to realize that $1,300 from the mortgage payment, that is the principal and interest, which just that part alone consists of $900. And then we have our taxes and insurance, which that's all included within the $1,300 a month. But think about it. That's a big chunk that is coming out of our cash flow. Like, wouldn't it be nice just to have an extra $900 per month in cash flow from just taking away that mortgage?
Right.
You know, that's what I'm thinking.
Right, that's
like,
the
I would
main
like
thing.
To have that extra
and it's cool
$900.
to really sit there and have like the tenant pay the bills. Everything's running smooth, man. It's nice to have that, bro, but it's really, something's always gonna pop up. Even on a good property, something's gonna pop up. You're gonna have to change something simple, or something's gonna require some type of work. That's just the way things are.
Dollars a month in cash flow. And that's where my mind's at. Like, I'm done worrying about scaling with no money, because I realize like it can be easily done where you can buy so many rental properties or just properties in general, whatever you want to do with them, whether that's, fixing them up or keeping them as rental properties. You can do that with no money out of pocket. I mean, that's how we scaled from 0 to 22 units within 18 months. But it's honestly the riskier route if you don't have another source of income, because you slowly get into a hole and you have all these mortgage payments racked up. You have to make sure they're all getting paid, but you also want to make sure that you're getting paid and you're cash flowing as well. So after realizing all this, like I said,
you get so many properties and so much stuff going on, bro, you might have to hire somebody to do something. Now that's another expense. Like, stuff adds up, bro, and things are not cheap this year or these days, and to only cash flow $300 is bro, $500 a month will make a big difference in your income, bro. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't. $300 will make a difference, but it's in today's day and age, man. Like, to really change your life, it's not gonna just completely change your life. You'll be a little bit more comfortable with one property bringing you $300. I mean, run the numbers. Go find you a little property on Zillow and see if you had $20,000-$50,000 to put down. I don't know depending on where y'all from. Where I'm from Oklahoma. Shit kind of cheap out here. You know what I'm saying? So you can get you something with 50,000. You can get you something nice. You know what I'm saying? Go look and see what you can get with 50,000, 20% down, and run the numbers. That's the minimum they gonna want as an investor. 20%. You might have to do 25. With some collateral or something. Like, you never know. It's a lot that goes into it, man.
I'm done taking that risky route, and I want to take a different approach where I want to focus on limiting those mortgages, having a consistent income, and having a good amount of money in reserves. Because to be honest with you, I'd rather own 30 properties that are 100% paid off than 100 properties that have mortgages on them and only cash flow $300 a door.
You gotta make sure you got money in accounts on these days. It's a lot, man. That's why you always gotta have some reserves, man. Something making some interest on it. Just put away,
Because you guys have to remember, it's not about what looks good on social media, and it's not about how much you gross per month. It comes down to
all these rappers with these chains and these rings, bro. Like, oh, this one 500, this one a quarter, bro. You're lying. I seen some little baby say he blew $8 million in the casino or something. Maybe it's true. I doubt it. These people not this rich, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they not, bro. And if they are, it's just terrible investments, man. Why you talk about generational wealth? You'll never have it doing stuff like this. Hey, I'm not watching another man's pockets, but I'm just looking at what I see. I'm like, I would never. If I was in people's positions like I was, if I just had millions, like how people on the internet be claiming, I would never do none of the stuff y'all doing. Not to look cool, not to get some ad revenue on YouTube. Like, no. No, I'm all about having it and not showing it. Like, straight up.
Truly how much you net per month and how much money is coming into your pocket. And now I know this was a quick video, but I didn't
want to be able to do, man, like get your first property and pay it down some, refinance it, get a lower payment so you can cash flow more. Like that's what I'm interested in doing, or just completely paying off the loan on my property. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we can cash flow it, or we can refinance because it's paid down. We've been making additional payments. We can cash flow it or refinance it, get a cheaper payment. Take that money that we would have used to pay it off, go get another property with it while that's sitting there cash flowing because we done fixed it up and got everything right. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be minor maintenance. Go buy another property. You know, that's what you can do. You know, once you paid it down and now you're cash flowing and that mortgage is real low and you can rent it at below market. You know, now you're competing. You know, you can rent this property at below market because you're able to cash flow, which you want to get the most you can. But sometimes it's like, okay, I have enough wiggle room that I can price this below market and it'll easily get snatched up. Someone will always want to live here. I can get a good tenant at a good price for them. You know, and everybody's happy here, you know, and so that's stuff you got to think about, man. You know, or are you selfish? You don't care. You ain't pricing it at, you know, you can be selfish with it too if that's what you choose to do. You know, but when it comes to being in debt, man, you always want to pay that off, man. I just bought a car, like I said, and I set my cycle, my first payment 3 months in advance, which it doesn't really matter when it is because it's still going to be whatever the term is, and that really just makes it way longer, 3 months longer. But I'm going to build up. I'm just going to save some that allow me to save those payments, keep it moving, maybe make an investment or two, you know what I'm saying, build that money up, keep it in my pocket, you know what I'm saying, throw it in a savings account or whatever, and then come with one big payment at the first, and then just pay that, like, you know, and come with one big payment at the beginning, and then just continue to keep making additional payments, you know. And so that's what I'm gonna end up doing, you know, so I can pay this off. I don't want to be in debt. You know, it's nothing cool with that, man. You want to be debt free, man, because that's always gonna eat into your pockets. You're always gonna have to pay something, man. You know, yeah, you can cash flow. You know, you can go buy a car wash for $3 million, $4-5 million. You know, a Popeyes, a shopping center, but you know, with 20% down. You know, a 6 cap, whatever it is, like. But you're still gonna have to make them payments. You're still gonna be at the whims of that. You know. And so if it's not cash flowing, or you don't really have capital in your pocket, like that you can liquid cash or just some other form of investment or incomes to also support that, if that goes haywire, then that's gonna fail. Simple as that. Foreclosure. That's how it happens. Straight up. But as far as like buying a house to live in it, bro, that's always going to be a great investment if you can do so and hold it. If you really intend to live in that same place for 20 years, it can be a great investment, man. If you don't get a crappy interest rate, if you can afford it, you know, if it's all right, if it appreciates, it's in a good neighborhood, like, it can be a good investment for sure, but you have to hold on to it for that long to see that, and then you can transfer and go get a bigger house or take some money out, downsize once your kids is grown. Stuff like that, man. It's a lot that goes into it, and I love it, man. I love it. Can't lie. Let's finish it out, though.
I don't want to waste any time just to get my point across so you guys can know how much you net per month and how much money is coming into your pocket. And now I know this was a quick video, but I didn't want to waste any time just to get my point across so you guys can see the real truth about rental properties. And just know that it's always good to reevaluate your goals just to see where God is truly leading you to go. Because to be honest with you guys, my goals from the jump was to hit 100 units in a quick time frame. But now, after experiencing everything
that just sounds good, bro. It sounds good. It's a lot of work, man. And everybody's not cut for it. Everybody doesn't have the money to do it. You know, sometimes you need to take it slow, man. It's cool to buy one property and that be your test and have fun with it. And you still have all this other money that you can do whatever you want with. Like, that's cool, bro. Do that. To me, that feels great. To have all this money aside and, you know, I bought something and, you know, whether it completely fails, I'm still good. I can buy something else and try again. You know, that's a great feeling to have, man. Like, straight up.
Through within this 18-month time frame, I realized it was time to reevaluate my goals and take a step back and see where God wanted me to go. But I hope this video gave you some insight on the real truth about rental properties. And if it did, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. Go subscribe if you're not subscribed. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Hey, man, shouts out to Stephanie, man. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but shouts out. She got 31K subscribers, man. Y'all go like the video. I'm going to do that right now. Y'all go like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. Make sure y'all do the same thing for me and her. I'll get at y'all on the next one, man. TYP the 9. TYP the 9, you know that this the way of life. I ain't never raped the gang, but I feel like gang tie. I've been really pushing P, put the P in TYP, that nigga.